reasonable stage of, open chords and stuff like that. So when it came to actually playing an electric guitar, which I went on to become the guitarist of Metnoia, full-on staff, I had no idea. No idea. It's a very interesting story. I'd love to share it with you one day, but for another time. We've already gone 3 hours.
Yeah, we probably have. We have gone for...
And that's the beauty of editing.
We can cut.
That's his job. He can make this 45-minute or 2-hour session down to a, take all the good bits out. It might go for about 2 minutes. It'll be, hi, I'm Steve. Hi, I'm Ken. Thanks. See you next time. I notice when a lot of other people do their podcasts that there's often they'll be talking and then it'll cut to them again. But
and they're slightly in a different position.
But the thing is, you can see the if you do it well, it's really not that big a deal.
No.
So yeah.
And that will be done really well.
Yeah, of course it will, with beautiful music in the background. La, 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 la. Anyway.
So did we get to our point?
Oh, the point, of that particular story was just the fact. Yeah. It was the funniest thing. It's like asking, do you ride horses?
No.
Okay, so it'd just be like God saying, Kendon, I want you to form a farm, and you're going to be you're going to have 10 horses, and you're going to ride them, and you're going to break them in, and you're going to and I want you to do that because there's lots of cowboys and that out there that need to know Christ, and you're going to be using that. I'm going to blah, 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 blah. And Kendon goes, what? A horse?
Yeah,
that's what it was like for me.
Yeah.
It was like, okay. So off I walked into this not completely area that I'd never ever dreamed of thinking that I'd be going into.
And you did so well. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's a particular vocal style too, and you actually were able to lend yourself even to that.
I sing on the albums, but remembering that I'm not the actual singer.
I know.
And that's where we got the death metal label.
Yowie or Justin.
That's from when Yowie came on the scene. And he had the big heavy guttural voice.
Was
so
phenomenal. He could have,
for a 15 or 16-year-old kid.
Mate, he honestly, he was world class, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, he still sings.
Yeah,
he's still.
He's got a nice voice. Like he's a bit. What's that band that sang that Bridge Over Troubled Water or something?
Like a bridge.
No, I think it was another
troubled water.
That other.
What is it? I will lay me down.
It's probably another Simon and Garfunkel song, but it's a metal band that's
over troubled waters. Sorry, I was a bit out with you there.
That's all right.
He's actually thinking of a band called Disturbed.
Disturbed.
And they did a remake of Sounds of Silence by Simon and Garfunkel.
That's the one.
Yeah. Very, very... I've often said... Because I do that song as Old Man Yak.
Yep.
And got a really good backing track for it. And that's one of the covers that I've seen over many decades that actually does the song justice.
Mm.
It's a fantastic cover by a heavy metal band. And
who usually sings like
fairly full on stuff, and they still add. There's still a bit of that angst in his vocal in the second half of the song where he starts to punch it out a bit, but it just works.
The thing I've actually found a lot about metal musicians, especially the ones who have gone on to have quite good careers, is that a lot of them come from a classical background. Like even their guitarists, their drummers are usually very well. Like they've got a lot of classical knowledge behind them in the way that they've been brought up learning that style, and then have gone into almost like the opposite to classical. You would think death metal or extreme metal is probably the other end of classical. If we were going on a scale, classical's like the original, and extreme metal is towards the end of.
Well, Randy Rhoads, I don't really know. I mean, I'm just taking your word on what you just said because I wouldn't really know, but I do know that Randy Rhoads.
Only that I know that. I often look at guitarists and I
you look at their background.
delve into their background because I want to see what their influences are. Because if I like a guitarist, I go, okay, who influenced them so that I can start listening to that because I want to play similar to what they do. Instead of learning them, I go to their source. So anyway,
no, just the one that I can think of that was
Randy Rhoads.
Yeah, Randy Rhoads played for Ozzy Osbourne.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, died in a plane crash. They were buzzing the tour bus. Randy Rhoads was in the plane, and I'm not sure if they actually hit the bus or something happened, and there was a crash anyway. And he died. He was only young, 24, 25 years old, but he was already I'm not quite sure what the right word is.
Virtuoso?
Virtuoso master or something in classical
guitar.
style guitaring, and yet here he was doing great things in a heavy metal band.
Yeah.
You know, so yes, often the background you don't really know. Like my background's piano accordion when I was 4.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yep. I was 4 years old. Oh yes,
look at that old fella.
Little squeeze box.
You can't see that.
Yeah. Little squeeze box up there.
I'll pop that picture up here.
I'm sure it sounds better than that. I was 4 years old. My mum had me learning the piano accordion, which was half the size of me. They didn't have little baby ones back then. So here I am up there going, oh yes. The Cuckoo's Waltz, Brian and the Juniors down in Brisbane.
Yep.
Yep.
You know
and
where
I retired. Oh.
No, go.
I retired when I was 5.
5, okay.
Yeah. Bum and I had a bit of an argument, a bit of a discussion, a heated discussion about practice. And when you're 5, I just went, that's it, not playing this anymore.
That's fair.
So I retired.
I started recorder.
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh.
I know. And it still hurts a
That's
little
a school
bit.
thing.
It is a school thing.
Yeah,
I went to a Catholic school.
Well, I went to Wallaroo State School, because
and they still do,
we were poor.
Yeah.
And we used to play the recorder. Yeah.
But the good thing is the recorder actually gave me the love for music to start with, taught me how to read music.
Destroyed mine.
Taught me how to read music.
You read music?
Yes.
Oh.
So
your school could afford cheap music.
Well,
sorry, mate.
I'm actually dyslexic.
Dyslexic.
Yeah. And
I thought it was funny.
Dyslexic people are very mathematical inclined. Like mathematical is a much easier way of, because we work things out sort of backwards. And I found that reading musical notes was very mathematical for me, so it was something that I actually could apply myself to and go, oh yes.
Well,
and patterns. Music has a lot of patterns, and I loved patterns.
It's funny you say that, because music is mathematical. The semi-brief is four beats.
That's
1,
right.
2, 3, 4. The
Yeah.
crotchet is 1 beat. 1. So it's all very. So I can see how that would work with it. If you're already.
Yeah, it's because my brain's already wired that
whatever
way.
the right word is.
Yeah.
Dispensated or something to that particular thing. That would really. You'd be able to grab that even more than me. I'm just sitting there looking at all these wiggly lines, going, oh my goodness. Because when I was 10,
Wibbly wobblies.
I played the trombone.
Oh, trombone.
And that's where I learnt to read music.
Ah.
And I did that for 5 years. So even though I did that for 5 years, I gave that away when I was 15. But even today, I can still look at music and read it.
Yeah.
Slowly. But
Me
I can
too.
still
Yes,
read it.
and the more distance you put between reading music, it gets slower and slower.
You definitely.
But yes, I'm the same. I can read music. I can even play piano. I did a year of jazz piano back when I was like 20. Decided that I thought, I think I'm going to learn how to play jazz. Why not learn it on the piano instead of the guitar? I don't know why, but it gave me some good basis on how the piano works. So now, when I started sculpting bands, and even now, like putting my 2 cents, I suppose, or my experience into worship bands, I can speak into keyboardists, because there are not very many pianists in church. They're really keyboardists these days. They play. It's different. Like a pianist plays lead with their right hand and rhythm with their left hand, whereas keyboardists do the opposite. They basically are playing chords the whole time.
Oh, wow, yeah.
It's not really
both hands. Yeah.
And but it was good for me because I got a little bit of jazz background, like theology, I was able to apply it to the piano, and now, even just in my own recording studio, I can use some of that knowledge. It does come eventually. It's slow because you've got to remember.
I know.
You've got to remind yourself of what's happening. So, you could get someone in to do it like that.
Yeah.
Or I just spend 2 hours figuring it out myself. And
well, the speed that I used to play the trombone, I used to go in statewide competitions, and you'd be, you see those notes. It's like, blah, 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 now you look at them and you go, no, that one is a G.
G.
Yeah, that's
and that is going to F.
But we still can read it. But look, I don't know if you know this or not, but my piano experience is that I can identify a piano.
That's good. It's got.
That's it.
It's got keys.
Yeah, I know the difference between a piano and an organ and a keyboard.
It's funny because you said you played the piano accordion.
Yeah, but that was
was that
4.
just
I was 4. I retired when I was 5. That's got nothing to do with the piano.
Isn't that the one that?
Yeah, it's got the buttons. You got your
buttons or
you
keys?
got your keys here, and you got your buttons at the back.
It's the same as a piano.
I don't think he's quite correlating. I retired at 5. I'm now 60.
I don't understand why you can't remember this sort of stuff. Like, that should have been burnt into your memory. It's like riding a bike, isn't it?
It's like riding a bike.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I can still read music.
Could you ride a bike at 4?
Push bike?
Yeah. Can you still ride a push bike?
I don't know if I'd like to try. Yes, of course I can.
My point is now established.
All right. Next time I see a piano, I'm going to sit down and do a...
There's one right over there.
I'll do what's that thing? Monkey something? What's that one of those new songs? Something about monkey?
I don't know, but we could do chopsticks.
No. Is that it? Oh, okay. Oh,
Didn't we all learn that?
Oh, I don't know.
No, okay.
I didn't. But
we've gone right off topic.
Yeah. Oh well, what is the topic?
There is no topic. It's getting to know us.
This is the thing. This is just about getting to know us. That we are going to talk about stuff that's very relevant to us. Obviously, music is very relevant to us. God is very relevant to us. But what's happening in the
current
world?
Events.
Yeah, current events.
What affect
there is
us?
some stuff. I just can't believe. I don't know if whoever is listening, there is a country just south of Australia called New Zealand, and beautiful country, and unfortunately people live there. But I say that only in the sense of just what is happening.
Aren't the people who live there just soon to be Australians?
I'll tell you a stat that I know. We live in Queensland.
Pre-Australians live there.
There are more Kiwis.
Kiwis
live. Sorry. The second biggest population of Kiwis, New Zealanders, lives in Queensland, outside of New Zealand. And there's nearly 4 million or something people in New Zealand. And there's the second biggest population of Kiwis is Queensland.
Yeah.
So and we probably both have some very, very nice.
Oh, we do.
Kiwi mates. But so beautiful country, but just so sad about what's going on with governments all around the world actually. But New Zealand, I believe, is in lockdown, and which
time.
Can I just also mention that is a prison term that is actually a prison term when you're working in a prison, or rather they'll say, oh, we're going into lockdown, where you isolate people. People that are usually causing disturbances, and we isolate them. So just wanted to add that in there. I don't like the term lockdown; it's terrible. But New Zealand the government of New Zealand has locked down its country over one case.
One case.
So it'll be interesting to see how that unfolds, and as we speak, as free Australians, free Queenslanders, because New South Wales and Victoria, which are, for those who don't know Australia very well, they're states that are lower. Well, Queensland's up top, then you've got New South Wales, then you've got Victoria, and they are both in lockdown. Is Victoria still in lockdown?
Yeah, it went into lockdown yesterday.
Oh, the whole of Victoria, because I know Melbourne was.
Well, Melbourne did anyway, yeah.
Okay.
But I've got friends in Bendigo, and they went into lockdown, so
yeah.
It's.
So we I don't know. I really don't know whether it's to do with the heat. I hear people say about the temperature up here is not conducive for the
Well,
the virus
you might-
dash us.
You might not know this. I
Us.
read on Facebook this morning, and I know it's probably not where you're supposed to get your information from, but I did hear that there was 2 people who went down to Sydney from Townsville. They picked up a car. They drove home to Townsville in that car, and they did get tested, but have tested negative, but still have to go into quarantine or lockdown for 2 weeks.
I don't understand how you can test negative, and I think it's to do. Well, actually, I think I do know. It's apparently if it's because your symptoms don't often show until a certain, like with this particular virus, from what I have researched.
Virus. Like if you've got I don't understand
No,
that.
no. But what I'm saying is though it takes.
Yeah. Okay.
It can so
you'll have to be
if you're in
tested
contact
again.
with the virus. If you're in contact with it and you've got it, all right, then it can take up to a week before you may start to show some symptoms. So they cover themselves by going, well, you still need to quarantine because we don't know. You might be negative right now. You might be in the 3rd day. So in 6 days' time, you might still come up with this. This is just, and this is information. I want you to please understand this. So if you're gonna write comments and say we're talking through our hats or we have no idea what we're talking about, I
That's
just
true.
want you to know that that's in a way that is true. I'm not an immunologist. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I'm a muso.
We're
You know,
opinionists.
we have opinions, but it's really important that you understand because a lot of my friends attack me because they say, well, are you a nurse? Are you a doctor? Every single thing that I talk about is from research that I've done, listening to doctors, listening to scientists, listening to nurses, healthcare workers, and just people that their job is to report stuff like on is it Sky News that has Peter Credlin,
Yes, Sky News.
Alan Jones,
Yep.
Paul Murray. I don't agree with a lot of what those guys say either. Andrew Bolt,
Yep.
The Outsiders. If you can get a chance to watch those, I can guarantee at least you're getting something different from the mainstream one-sided viewer. Everyone has to be vaccinated. Everyone has to be vaccinated. What they've forgotten is that we actually have an immune system.
Yeah. You've got one Sky News who are even saying the lockdowns aren't great, and they've been saying that from the beginning, that they're not good for our economy. And then you've got the other media who are all seem to be run by the government. It doesn't make sense.
Run by the elite, run by the Murdochs and all those
Well,
people.
Murdoch-
I don't even know. Can we
don't
even say Murdoch?
Don't say Murdoch because
Okay.
Murdoch actually owns
All
Sky.
right, beep, 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 beep. Yeah, but there's that's an interesting thing that I've even heard Alan Jones say we don't know how long we're going to be allowed to keep
keep
stuff.
saying
saying.
what we
Yeah,
say.
exactly, exactly.
Well, his boys, Murdoch's boys, own Fox in America, and they have clamped down on a lot of their Fox commentators in America. The Fox, the equivalent
from lying.
Well,
Sorry, speaking non-truths.
no, from speaking stuff that they didn't agree with.
Yeah.
To be more in line with the rest of the media. And I found that Newsmax in America is one of the few, and another one, OCM or something like that, are the only other two sort of right-wing media outlets that actually are saying what people or feel like we're actually getting the proper facts, that are actually properly reporting, saying this is what doctors are saying, this is what doctors are saying. Because what I found is that if you want to believe a narrative and you Google something, those things are going to come up and you're going to pick and choose the one that you want to believe in. Instead of being in the point of view where you go, okay, I want this side of the argument and I want this side of the argument, and I want to decide for myself which one I think is true, rather than just going, I think this is true, he said it, I'm going to go with it.
Which is what happens with me with a lot of my friends that are very mainstream driven. I don't have a problem with them coming up to those conclusions when that is the only information that they're putting into their heads.
That's right.
And they say, Steve, you're a tinfoil, hat wearing, hippie or whatever, and you have no idea. The thing is, even when you say, oh, this doctor said this or this doctor said that, I'm actually listening to doctors. And I think it's really important to note that a lot of the doctors, and I'm happy to get the names of these doctors. We can, I don't know, like they say on YouTube, because we'll put it up we'll put it up there.
Here's a couple of doctors' names here.
We can get you all the doctors in the world that we.
We'll put some links in the comments.
When a doctor gets up there and says, I'm at risk of losing my medical license to speak to you about this topic, I am concerned.
Something's wrong.
With. Say again.
Something's wrong
when they're doing that, when they're risking their employment, their future financial situation. They may have a family that they have to feed, but they morally feel obligated that they need to say something is not right. With the injections, we're not even going to call them vaccinations. Oh, that might be acceptable. We're going to call them injections because that's what they are. But anyway,
because
I'm digressing in the right direction.
Can I just say, just on that nations, I don't think you're an anti-vaxxer. Are you an anti-vaxxer?
Well, it's none of your business.
No, but I'm not an anti-vaxxer. But there's no way I'm going to be putting in a vaccine that, in my knowledge, still hasn't been proven to actually do anything.
Well, how do you know that?
From the information that I've gathered.
Right. From who?
From different doctors and sources. I mean,
really?
Doctors? And actually, our own government has said, well, this is only 80% good, and you might, if you get this, it'll reduce it, but then you'll still spread it, and it's no guarantee that you're not going to get COVID. I'm like, well, what am I getting vaccinated for?
Yeah, exactly. And I've had some friends even say that. And we know that people who are being vaccinated not only can they get the virus, they can spread the virus. And all I hear about from friends that are vaccinated, they go, oh yeah, but it won't be as bad. We won't get it as bad or whatever. And I just go, yeah, okay, just keep believing that,
Look, it's not like polio. It's not like
totally different
things that have actually, these vaccinations have cured this disease from our society. We don't have to worry about those things anymore. This is completely different. These vaccinations do not do that. They don't. If all of Australia, every 100% of people got vaccinated, we would still get COVID.
It's not going to change.
Which is like,
yes,
it's that.
And do you know why?
It's ridiculous. Is why.
Yeah. Well, that's one way of saying it. But do you know what? Because it's a virus. Do you know how viruses behave? Okay, I'm not a biologist. I'm not a immunologist. Dr. Stephen Gundry is a doctor who knows a lot about this. Dr. Bruce Lippin or Lippert, something like he's an immunologist. These are guys that I've listened to. It's a virus. It behaves like a virus. It will mutate. When they go on, oh no, we've got this Delta thing, and everyone's got to get a booster. First of all, they told us we get the vaccine, everything will be okay. We'll be all good. Then we had to get the second shot. Now there's a new variant. Well, of course there's a new variant. That is how viruses work. But they make it sound like it's some new pandemic that's come along.
And it is the flu. It's just the
flu. And they mutate all the time.
COVID is just the flu.
Dr. Stephen Gundry
Sorry.
said a virus normally mutates about once a year, but a cold, which apparently I believe, if I've got my information right, this virus is similar to a cold. They will mutate every 3 months. So people are getting injections for that's like when I go to my doctor and he says, do you want to get a flu shot? And I go, no. Why do I want a flu shot today for a flu that was last year?
That's right.
Because it mutates and we have a different flu this year.
All people need to do is actually take care of their bodies.
Why is that not common sense?
Eat properly.
Blueberries.
Well, basically any food that is purple. No, seriously.
No, I know, it is true. It is true. Blue, dark colour.
Dark colour, dark in colour.
Green. Your veggies, greens.
All of those things.
All the usual things Mum taught us.
Exactly.
Eat your greens.
not
Mum.
processed food,
Hey, Mum.
and you know, your immune system will be boosted
Yeah, look.
to be able to fight these things. I have not had a cold. Now, I've been keto for 3 and a bit years now.
Really?
Yeah. But I have not been sick
Yeah.
since I started. Not once. Not a sniffle, not a cough. The only time I got a sore throat was because I ran in cold weather and the really dry air
Yeah.
sort of dried out my throat. So it was like I was coughing and stuff, but it wasn't because of any virus or sickness. It was just because...
Yeah. Normal stuff. Yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah. And, I mean, that is because I eat a lot of green veggies. Protein is really good for the immune system as well. So I eat high protein and a lot of veggies because that's all we can eat. And I don't eat processed food because it's full of carbs. I don't eat sugar because it's no good for you.
Did I put you onto this?
No. But you did say back 3.5 years ago, you go, I'm going to start keto. Who's with me? And I'd actually been thinking about it.
Facebook.
On Facebook.
Yeah.
And I had done a bit of research, and it was actually something that I was like, I think I might try keto. Anyway, you said that, I went, I'm with you. And you lasted about 7 weeks, and I'm still 3.5 years later.
Yeah, that was 6 weeks ago. You know, I'm just continuing on. I just found out from this morning that there's a guy who's like he's being hunted in Australia. He's literally being hunted. They put his photo out. Police are trying to find him because he's got COVID symptoms. Apparently, he is what considered to be a case, and he hasn't. What is it? He hasn't done something he was supposed to do, and he's on the.
Police hasn't gone on lockdown.
And he's on the. Yeah, okay, yeah. It's like.
Yeah, they can't find him. He's supposed to be locked down in his house.
It's been advertised and labelled like he's some criminal. This is the stupidity that we've come to in Australia, and I even see international journalists and people talking about Australia and New Zealand in a way that they're just shaking their heads, going, "This is the most draconian lockdowns." Like, I can understand why people in Melbourne are walking the streets and going, "We've had enough."
You know what I can't stand is people and media. I actually don't watch much free-to-air TV at all. My parents were up last week, and my mum was helping me cook dinner, and she said, "Oh, can you put the the news on for Glenn, because he's bored and he likes to watch the news." And I went, "Sure." I don't watch the news at all.
No, me
so
either.
I put it on, and I could hear it going because the lounge room's right next to the kitchen. And seriously, I could not believe...
How many times did you shake your head?
So many times, because all it was about, and the commercials in between, and the commentators were all like, "You must get vaccinated, and if you don't get vaccinated, you are...
you're a bad person.
That's right, you are letting the whole country down, and you're killing people.
You're going to kill us all."
And it was only about...
Good name for an album.
Oh.
No, it's Kill 'Em All.
Kill 'Em All. Probably about 8 months ago, I belonged to a couple of research groups where they pay money for me to give them my opinion. And one of them was when the vaccine was first coming out, and it was the government was trying to find out how they would advertise it. And they wanted people who were on the fence about not getting the vaccine, and I'm one of those people. Especially back then, I was definitely on the fence. I've come off the fence since then. But they showed us a few different advertising campaigns, and there was the fear one, where they're saying, "Get vaccinated because otherwise you're going to, kill other people." And I can assure you that there was 10 of us in the group, and every one of us went, that actually makes me step back even further. Don't push me into this. Don't try and tell me that I have to get vaccinated because I'm saving other people's lives. That actually doesn't help. That didn't turn my mind. That didn't make me go, "Oh, I'm sorry, I think I better get vaccinated." It actually pushed me away further, and that's what they're doing now.
Yeah.
So they've gone full swing, where they've gone, "Oh no, and you know what? It's fear."
Yeah.
And a friend of mine from Germany, Holger, how you doing? posted this article on his Facebook page. He lives in Germany at the moment, and it was, someone asked the question, how come the German people went along with Hitler to destroy the Jews? And they said that all it was small bits of false information that made them fear what the Jews were, could become, and what they would take away from them. And that's why, and over only 6 years, I think it was, before the actual Holocaust started, you've got people who were confessing to be Christians. These German people was a Christian nation, gone full swing to allowing absolute genocide because of fear. And I think that is if any of our governments are going down that path of trying to fear us into doing anything, we are moving down a path that is very destructive. Very destructive. Now, I don't believe that our government is going to turn around and become a communist thing. But what it does is starts to open up the door for these type of governments to raise their heads, to rise up within our system. It may not be in your lifetime, because you only got a couple of years left. It's probably not going to be in my lifetime, but in my daughter's lifetime, I can definitely see that these type of socialist, communist views, which that view is widely adopted by so many liberals these days, they seem to think it's a great way of life when history tells them it's not. But it doesn't take much for that to become, that ideal to become a thing. Now it's a party, now it's a government, and we're all under it. And we're back to square one. But not just one country, the entire world.
You're very kind to the Australian government. I'm just absolutely disgusted with the way things are going. And one of the things you said about about how they're wording, there's a few things I'd like to comment, but my brain will probably forget what I want to say. But one of the things I heard the Prime Minister of Australia, Scott Morrison, say the other day was that in regards to the injection and the dangers, you know, he basically, I heard him say it, and this won't be a total quote, but I'll try and do my best, is that he basically said that in all medical type things that happen, there are risks, and we are all responsible for the risks that we take in regards. So he's basically saying that there's a risk. The propaganda that's pushing this to go and get the jab. But if anything happens, well, you know, you're aware of the risks. These things can happen.
Yeah. And
we know that there are, and this is actually from the official records, and look, if people want stats and stuff and think, well, we'll do our best if anyone even watches this. But but on a more serious note, there are people actually dying from the injections. This is a fact. There are people who are being maimed physically, having major neurological issues that are not going to stop. Apparently, when these things happen, it's not like, oh yeah, that's just a side effect that'll last for 2 months and then it'll be back to normal. No, I've seen some pretty awful pictures of young women in chairs that were normal women. They've had the injection, now they're like this, and they can't talk. They're you know, it's just really sad. And so I just see that our government.
We don't know if that's actually from the jab, but if it could be, that's like, I don't want to.
Okay, a person is going along in life. You're going along in life, following your diet, following your exercise regime. You're a fit guy. You know, this guy runs up a hill all the time. Anyway, I can't talk. I used to do it, but
I know.
But so nothing's changed in your routine.
I know.
Then you get the jab,
and then something changes.
And then sometime later, it might be a day, it might be a week, it might be 2 weeks. All of a sudden, this happens. You know, do the maths. You don't have to be a rocket scientist, and not only that, but you support that by all the information that's coming out about these injections that have not been properly tested, and they haven't. There is a process, and I get this information not from like the Weet-Bix packet. This is from healthcare people that have said that it's not. I've also got information in regards to all that usually these things are tested through. I'm trying not to say vaccinations. These are tested through animals, and they actually stopped testing them on animals. Do you know why?
Because they were killing them?
All the animals died. Okay?
Yeah.
Mice apparently were about 2 months after they received the 19,
Yep.
they were dead.
The jab?
About 2 months after. And I think they also did it with monkeys. I'm not sure how long monkeys lived before they died. And what they're saying, I don't want to scare anybody, but to me, this is actually, it's not scary, but it's just the reality of where we are today when we talk about governments and stuff, that this particular person who works with these animals was saying that the lifespan thing of mice is about a month to a mice is a year to a human.
Mm-hmm.
So they were saying after 2 months, these mice were dying.
So after 2 years...
So that's the implication, is that if there's organ shuts down, all this sort of stuff.
And you know what?
I'm not making this up. I don't even want to say this.
But the thing is that we're never gonna find the truth out, because basically in 2 years' time, if all those people with the jab have died, they'll just blame COVID.
You know who they'll blame? I want you to know who they'll blame.
You?
Exactly. They will blame...
Even though they got the jab.
They will blame the unvaccinated. We
the ones
are
who
going
are still
to be the ones who are using our immune system like we should. Yes, we will get the blame for all these things that are going to happen, because we're the awful people who are the spreaders.
Okay, so if we're getting back...
Now I'm hypothesising
That's
a little bit, all right?
We're getting... Let's get back to...
Yeah, music.
Where we were trying to get to, I think, and that is that this is our opinion. This is what we've got, an educated opinion about these things. We've got a pretty like a hard stance on where we think this is, but it's just our opinion. It doesn't mean
based on
it. Oh no, it's based on some facts. I know that's. I'm not saying that. What I'm trying to
making this up.
No, but what I'm trying to get to is that you've lost friends, so called, because of that opinion. And the thing is that this is where our society's come to now, that you actually aren't allowed to have a different opinion of anyone. My brother posted up, he's changed his Facebook post, and it was, I use my immune system and I want to, I want the right to choose, or something like freedom of choice, or something like that. Just a profile pic. Within 1 day, he had 74 comments. Now, that's just changing your profile picture. And a lot of them, like, he just started a debate between his friends. And it's like, oh, yes, I agree with you. And then, oh, you're a crazy person and you shouldn't be, and that's so disappointing. You should be, and it's like, because he's come out and said, I just want to choose. He actually didn't say that he wasn't going to get vaccinated. He just wants to say that he wants the freedom to choose. Because it's going to get to the point, probably, I hope not, where our government's going to say, you have to do it. And either way, how they do it will be like, you're not allowed to go to another state unless you've got a vaccination passport. You're not allowed to leave the country unless you've got a vaccination passport. You might not even be allowed to leave your own town unless you've got a vaccination passport. If you go out on the road and the cops pull you over, they're not going to ask you for your license. They're going to say, have you got your vaccination passport? No, officer. Hands out! Put your hand on it! Get the mask! Get the
You get the masks that don't work.
Get the suits! We've got an anti-vaxxer! But do you see that? It's going to go that way.
Yes, I agree. I think it will, and I think we've got a little bit of an insight into that. We do believe in God, but in saying that, we believe in what the Bible says, and the Bible does say in Revelation. The Bible actually talks a lot about what's going on. A lot of people won't understand that, and that's fine. but it talks about a mark that's going to come where we will not be able to buy anything or sell anything. In other words, we won't be able to just get on with our lives unless we have that mark. Now, at the moment, we sort of look at that as the passport, COVID passport thing is something that's not the mark,
no,
but it's
could be anything.
but it's the little drip steps that is
That's
getting put into place. And they're saying that's not mandatory. It's okay. You don't have to have it, but if you don't, you won't be able to do this. You won't be able to do this. You won't be able to do this. Mm-hmm. So they're not saying that. You know what I mean? So we're going to be punished.
Well, you showed me your COVID passport one day.
Shall I show it?
If you would like to show,
I've actually got it with me.
He's got it in his pocket here. Oh, there it goes.
Oh, censored.
Oh,
that's done with the nicest of.
But what you're saying is not fun. Like, we are already there. Like, I even do it now just to shut people up because I can't be bothered. Is that we've got to scan in to every place that we go to. In fact, did you scan in today when you come here?
Yes, I did.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I pulled out my other passport.
Your phone that does that one? What's that one look like?
Here's my other passport.
Oh,
no, I'm trying to. No.
No, it doesn't work. It's fine.
There we go. That's hard.
But they're already tracking.
Live long and prosper.
They're already tracking us now.
If you've got a phone and you haven't gone in and changed the settings, they already know where you are.
Yeah.
You know.
Anyway,
this could be part 1, part 2.
This will be part 1 and part 2.
But look, this has been fabulous. It's been really good to have a chat, and we're going to cover a lot of issues. And there are going to be some people who do watch this and go, "Oh, who are these idiots from Australia? You know, from the land down under, mate." Hey, digger.
Thick accents.
So we don't really talk like this, cobber.
Bloody government.
Yeah.
Bloody government.
Stinking wusses. We'll show them.
Yeah.
I'll take my thumb off and whack them one.
This
like Paulie from Fat Pizza.
This is true Australian redneck. Look at that redneck.
So no, we don't speak like that all the time.
No.
We are quite articulate in the way that we can present ourselves. That's boring.
Anyway, you've just gone way up.
Yeah, I know. I've lost everybody. But look, if you want to comment, please comment. Be nice. Be nice, hey. Look, we're just a couple of guys. And look, if you really, really hate it, it was his idea. Okay, I just come along for the ride.
That's fine.
No, I didn't really know how this was going to go. I was a little bit apprehensive about the whole thing. But I've had a good time.
Oh, good. And because that's all it is. We're just here.
It's a bit of fun, having a chat. And we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. We have so much more to talk about in regards to our, like how Metanoia came about, all that sort of stuff, and
even
we become Christians.
We may pick up a guitar or two.
Why on earth we become a Christian? We might get a guitar. We might do some song. I'd love to do that.
We could do a song.
A couple of acoustics or something, and have a bit of a jam out. Just to really bore you.
Yeah, one of these days we'll do it.
So yeah, thanks for listening in.
So we'll probably have maybe part 1, part 2 in the next 2 weeks, and we'll get together. We're going to get together sort of fortnightly and put our thoughts down, and
well, it's so much happening in within a week or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
There's going to be so much to talk about, as well as the stuff that we want to historically chat about.
Because we want to talk about ourselves. I think we've got pretty interesting lives.
A lot of people. Well, it's true. It's true. Well, see, the thing is, I don't think so, but I can see how other people might think so.
I think you've got an interesting life, and I think it's a life
because
it's not too discommon from a lot of people, and I think it's good for people to see. Oh, there's someone out there that's very similar to me. That's crazy. I know. There shouldn't be any more of
Is that a compliment or I don't know. Thanks, brother. Cheers, everyone. God bless.
See ya.